We can't say the future without AI. I mean, there's no way around it. 50% of workers now believe AI is going to improve their experience. When I come into the meeting room, I need a way to incorporate my AI with what's going on in the meeting. It's almost a bring your own AI type of a concept. Most of what we do in our day-to-day is going to change significantly.
Hear the latest AV trends and predictions in this episode of Crestron's Smarter Spaces podcast on your preferred podcast platform.
Infocom is sponsoring an event that Tuesday for attendees to go to the Sphere as well too. What is going to be like though? Ask yourself this question. A bunch of pro AV geeks, myself being one of them, in this incredible what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about the sound, the experience? We're going to be like looking under the corners for cables. We're going to ask about cable management. We're going to be asking about all these other things as well.
I won't bore you with the tech, but there is an array of attenuators in the primary power transfer system that channels the field bleed.
Kenneth, you're boring the commander with tech.
Dante domination. The Sphere buys Holoplot, and Google partners up with HP. All that and more next on AV Week. This is AV Week, episode 665, recorded Friday, May 17th, 2024. Virtual collaboration. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of the biggest news and information we can gather. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us to discuss the news and information we have gathered this week. First and foremost, Kelly Teal from SSR. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, as always, for having me.
Absolutely. Good to see you. An old friend, a person I've known a long time. Neither of us are old, Junkus. Derek Junkus from Extron. How are you, sir?
I like how you qualified that. Thank you.
I'm trying, dude.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back in AV Week and be so old.
Well, yeah. And last but not least, a young man that I've known for a few years, Craig Durr, has a brand spanking new shingle called the Collab Collective. Welcome, sir.
How are you doing? I like that I get characterized as the young man in this group now. That's even, I don't know if that's pressure or what is this going to be?
Yeah, everything's relative. Chris Netto turns 50 this year. So, everything's relative.
I'm older than Chris. I'll put that out there. I just say.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
I'm not going to say whether or not I am older or younger, just the fact that we were both the first ballot of the 40 under 40. And that is all I'm going to say about that. All right, first story comes to us, honestly, from every website, including our own, but with the story we picked up was from the AV Network. Sphere Entertainment has fully acquired Holoplot GmbH, a German audio technology company, after initially investing in the firm back in 2018. Partnership between the two companies led to the development of the Sphere's immersive sound powered by Holoplot's proprietary technology. Sphere Entertainment's David Dibble said, quote unquote, Holoplot is at the forefront of audio innovation, and their technology has already transformed what is possible for concert-grade sound. Now, Sphere Entertainment also made a similar investment into Sacco, the maker of the SPOC LED modules that creates the visual canvas for the Sphere. Kelly, I want to start with you on this. As somebody who designs systems, who specifies product, what does this do for the brand of Holoplot now that they're owned, not by another manufacturer, but by, quite frankly, one of their customers?
It's a little bit of an odd situation because this is not like a typical collaboration where you're just expanding your services and products, right? So this is a little bit more of a strategic move in the entertainment or audio technology industry. This isn't new either. So from what I gathered, they actually had back in 2018, they had made their first, Sphere Industries had made their first investment into Holoplot, and those two companies had joined forces back then. So this is not entirely new, which they were able to develop the technology behind the Sphere's immersive sound system. And so I think this is just kind of more of a completion in what they were already trying to accomplish, and with the specializing of the 3D audio technology, and then the immersive sound system being deployed. And I think that this is just more so that they're closing that first transaction. And I think they're going to continue to operate as the subsidiary of the Sphere Entertainment. And I think they're still going to continue serving those clients that they have. And I believe they're headquartered in Berlin. So I think that's probably where they're going to do most of their business. To me, I don't see it as a positive or a negative. I think this is just more so an announcement, if you will. It's just something that they're going to take this custom design technology and they're already transforming it into this concert grade solution. So I think it's just their way of committing to it and their way of just continuing what they were already trying to accomplish with growth opportunities. So I think to me this was no big piece of news that was like, oh, what an acquisition, this is crazy, because it was already something happening in the background.
Craig, I mentioned the fact that they also invested in Sacco in 2018. They did investments in both companies, Holoplot and Sacco, prior to the announcement of what technology they were going to be using. Now, I'm not throwing aspersions. I'm just kind of putting that out there. Some of the reporting that was done, mentioned the fact that Holoplot was then able to leverage the investment to create this. So, when you look at something like this, is this something as an industry analyst, like Kelly said, this is, to her, this is no big deal. Then is it something where they're going to maybe, close the loop on Sacco as well? And we should have an announcement here, I don't know, a month where Sphere also buys the LED manufacturer?
It's possible. You know what I think they're doing is they're locking in their strategic advantage in this entertainment field. It isn't so much a play in that space. I think as a well-funded company, they're locking in a technology to make sure we have access to it and maybe limit who else has access to it, I think, on both accounts. You can't be monopolistic in that way, but they're now assuring, because I think they've already announced they're working on a second project as well with the same technology. So they've got a long roadmap, and locking in the technology and making sure that it's available to them, I think, is key strategic. But to your point, I think the question is it going to limit any innovation from other vendors in this space? Maybe not. I can't imagine so. I don't know when the next company besides the Sphere is going to have such $1 billion investment in an entertainment venue, though. Maybe someone here in this space might know about that. But I think it's more strategic on the Sphere's part as opposed to any type of concern around Holoplot's longevity or what have you. I think they're just locking in to make sure their strategic advantage is there.
That's a really good point. Derek, same kind of question is as you guys, obviously Extron have made a couple of acquisitions over the last, 20 or 30 years since I've paid attention. What does this do to that brand? I guess, the Holoplot brand, it's been out that MSG Sphere made an investment in Sacco, also in Holoplot, but now they are a wholly owned subsidiary of them.
I think I kind of agree with what both Kelly and Craig have already said, that it's great when you can be so vertically integrated and control your product. You can control what is being used to deliver your entertainment resources, and also be assured of what the outcome is going to be. So I think, at Extron, that's something I know that we have tried to do over the years, is try to do as much as we can on our own so that we can kind of control our own destiny. We can be responsive to customers. And so what better way to be responsive to customers is when you're controlling the entire experience. And then maybe you're going to open some other venues, maybe not as big as what the Sphere is currently, but maybe some other ones, and be able to take advantage of the technology you have, because I think so many folks are very familiar with Sphere and MSG at this point as a result of hearing about the experience, not even attending, because there just hasn't been as many events that everyone can go to. Yeah. But I believe that I think it's a smart move on their part. I can't see why they would do it any other way, to be honest.
And we've mentioned this almost every week that we've talked about, Infocom. Infocom comes up the 12th through the 14th of June in Las Vegas. If you're going, number of times to go see it, there is the Postcards from Earth. That's the movie that shows daily. But if you are a Deadhead, Dead and Company are playing that week as well.
I've got tickets for that one, Tim. I got tickets for that. So but also don't forget that Infocom is sponsoring an event that Tuesday for attendees to go to the Sphere as well too. I think it's sponsored by one of the partners in the community.
AVI Systems. Yep.
Yeah, AVI System is doing it, is right, and the GPA parent company as well too. They're excited about
Yep.
that party. I spoke to Byron just a couple days ago. It's a great opportunity. What is going to be like though? Ask yourself this question: a bunch of pro AV geeks, myself being one of them, in this incredible. What are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about the sound, the experience? We're going to be like looking under the corners for cables. We're going to ask about cable management. We're going to be asking about all these other things as well.
Let's just hope there's no dead LEDs that day.
Ooh.
I'm just going to point that out there. All right. Next story comes to us. HP and Google have partnered together. Google has partnered with HP to bring its Project Starline to the workplace by 2025. In case you've lost track, it's 2024. So that's in 6 months, kids. Project Starline is an immersive collaboration solution initially unveiled at Google's 2021 I/O event. The technology looks to, quote unquote, transform video conferencing through advanced technologies such as AI, 3D, animation, immersive displays, and spatial audio, creating hyper-realistic 3D representations of participants. Partnership with HP will help Google commercialize the product and make it accessible to distributed teams and hybrid workforces worldwide, with seamless integration into popular video conferencing platforms like Google, Zoom, and presumably Teams. Craig, you are the UC expert on this, and I saw this story, and I'm like, okay, Dirk gets to start with this one. What does this mean? I mean, are we? First of all, what does this partnership between Google and HP say about the UC landscape?
Well, I tell you what it says. If you want to talk about that, is Google likes to invest in their moonshot projects and things along this lines. Do you leverage that term? Starline kind of felt into that category. I think in the very beginning, and I was fortunate to see it in the very beginning, it was a really unique solution trying to find its problem to serve. Now, I think what you see more specifically with HP is you're recognizing that HP probably has more access to their potential market than Google does. And that's probably key what's playing into it. So if you're not familiar with Starline, some of you might say this is a back to the future. It looks like an ITP system. More importantly, it's priced like an ITP system. These are very expensive systems that are optimized for one-to-one communication. So if you start talking about being part of Teams or whatever else, you're not going to have the Brady Bunch boxes. That's not the experience they're driving for. So it's a really immersive experience, but you have to start taking a step back and saying, who can afford that price point? And what are the industries that are interested in it? And I think that's what drove Google and HP to come together. So price point, I mean, he says, last I saw, I thought it was like somewhere near like 45, 50,000 per endpoint. And you need two of these to talk to each other. But there are some interesting use cases. Go back to our ITP days, right? It used to be distance learning, corporate executive meetings. But one that's really interesting right now is telemedicine is actually becoming a really interesting one. We have patient, doctor, they need to have that intimate experience. It helps relieve patients in terms of understanding and seeing the three-dimensional movement of the doctor as well too, and the privacy as well. So I think it's a Google had this really interesting product. HP had a really interesting route to market to potentially touch it that Google didn't have. And they're going to see if this fits together.
Jonka, same kind of question, dude. What does this say about the space of UC and like Craig said, two-way communication, one-to-one, as we move forward into kind of the next iteration or next generation of unified communications?
Well, Craig, you brought up some good points. I was thinking as well, we were talking, how many times have we had technology that have sort of come around? Like every 10 years, there's something, right, that comes around. Sounds very similar to the last time we did it, except it does this, has a little twist to it, right? And I think especially in the communications market, when we're always trying to optimize the communication based upon the available technology that we have. So I guess to your question, Tim, I think one of the interesting applications for this probably would be in the medical field. I agree with that. That's the first thing that came to mind when I first saw the story. The reason why I say that is that I think if there's one industry that could be reformed and everyone would probably enjoy it, it might be the medical industry. There's sometimes, I think having more tools to be able to advocate for your own health or your own well-being, things like that, I think those are areas, even though this is very expensive now, I think that's the kind of application that really might like kind of suit a technology like this. Um, I don't know. I can't imagine. I'm kind of glad, I should say, that HP and Poly and their technologies are part of this initiative with Google, because I know that Google sometimes will dispense with something if it's not very popular because they have the means and wherewithal to do that. So I think the fact that there's more than one organization that is involved with this, because that allows a lot of us in the industry to be able to take a look at it and maybe evaluate it from let's say just from a purely technological lens. Like you look at it, hey, here's some kind of standard or some technology that Google is establishing as an entity, as a powerhouse in the information world. But to have an organization like HP, Poly, and their engineers and technologists looking at it, I think that helps because it gives it some bearing, gives it some purpose. So I guess I look forward to where this goes. I know it's been, like you may have mentioned earlier, but I know this announcement has been pending for a long time. It's just been a long road here. And it sounds like it's going to be a long road before we see something. So hopefully someone has a preview for all of us.
Barry, you mentioned something interesting. Do you think Poly and HP are going to put some of their technology into this as well, or is it going to be all Google technology in that process?
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping it's a little bit of a blend because, like I said, it's nice to have the application-centric thing that allows kind of the rest of the world to understand what they might need to gravitate to. I mean, it's hard to say, unless you're a bunch of us Infocom-ish geeks or industry geeks, like Kelly and I would be talking in Infocom, even though I just met Kelly. Be talking Infocom, we're talking about H.264, H.265, HEVC, talking about all these codecs and everything. Yeah, sorry, that's a hard thing to go talk to somebody about when you're unless you're in our industry, and even then, it's like, how do you describe it, what it is that we do, or why we do it? It's nice when you have an organization like HP and Poly, maybe for example, to kind of bring that to course, right? Bring that to the forefront a little bit and see how we might be able to sprinkle some of that into their product offerings. So,
there's one thing I'll add to this. There's another similar product in market that is going to actually be officially launched here in June, and we're going to see it at Infocom. And that is the partnership between Logitech and Steelcase. Now, they already previewed it at a couple of ISCs ago, and I had a chance to see it, called Project Ghost. And when you talk about Google investing in very advanced technology, this is old school technology of like the mirrors you saw at the haunted house at Disney World when you went around the ride that made the ghosts look like they were projected on there. It's that turn of the century imagery, but the use case actually winds up being very similar. And they're going to first debut it they're going to officially have it at NeoCon, which is the same week in Chicago as Infocom, and they're going to talk about it there. And I think I'll have a chance to go record an interview there with the people. But their use case is the same. And Steelcase, what they're doing more is also building the furniture and experience around it. So it's the same idea,
right?
Patient doctor experience as well too, but can I create a sense of privacy and connection in that space? So, and I think the price point, unfortunately, it's going to be lower. It's still going to be than the total one, but with that built-in furniture element, it's still going to be not a typical video conferencing system. So it's going to be interesting to see who plays in market well, and we've got two players there. So I'm watching on the sidelines. I'm going to watch this tennis match.
All right, Kelly, bring in some sanity here between myself and Craig and Jonkas, because I am old enough to remember, and Jonkas referenced this. What's old is new again. I'm going to pick on life size because that's the easiest one I can pick on. But we're talking $250,000, $300,000 for a room because it looked like you were sitting at the same table. Walk me through talking to a client who's trying to do something different when it comes to communication. And I guess the best way to ask this is what is it that they actually need? How do you walk them through their needs, and whether or not it's something like this or maybe the next iteration of something fancy and really immersive like this? How do you walk them through that process?
Well, budget's always the first topic of conversation. So that's always, if there's budget restrictions or if it's just like, hey, we have all this money, we can do whatever we want. And then we kind of walk through with them, how they're going to use the system, right? And a lot of clients are scared of these innovative solutions and these new solutions that are coming out, all the time. And when we talk to them about AR and AR and VR and AI, I think a lot of clients are still skeptical of it. And I think Google's expertise, and this is something we would explain to them. So Google's expertise in software and AI combined with, HP's hardware prowess can lead to the development of those innovative unified communication solutions. And I think the partnership alone might result in the creation of some kind of communication tool that offers that seamless integration. And that's just something you have to explain to a client, right? Because this is something that it's not typical, it's new, it's developing, and you have to show them there's enhanced features and improved user experiences, because those are the things they care about. And Google and HP may work on integrating their respective UC offerings. So I know Google's Workspace and HP collaboration tools, they can provide users with more comprehensive experience. They can also take that integration and streamline workflows and improve interoperability and make it easier for users to communicate across different platforms and devices, which is, again, a topic that clients care about. And it all comes down to, different collaboration capabilities. So, if they would want to know what these advanced collaboration features, such as the real-time document editing, is a big ask, virtual meeting rooms, immersive communication experiences, and if those capabilities can empower those teams to collaborate more effectively, regardless of their physical location. Because, as we've seen now, we're still doing a lot of remote work. We're still doing a lot of project management from different locations. So we need increased productivity and innovation, and that's what they want to see with these solutions. So it all comes down to, one, how they're going to use the system and how is it going to help them? If we're spending this kind of money on this solution, what does it do? Is the focus on security and privacy, or is it more so on collaboration capabilities, customization, and scalability? It all comes down to what they're looking for and what's most important, or if all of it's equally important. We want to make sure that we meet those unique needs of the different organizations and industries, and whether it's small businesses, large enterprises, or educational institutions, I think those solutions should all be tailored to support those varying requirements. And like Derek said about, in the medical field, I personally, as someone who is immunocompromised, I would love to see an advanced healthcare solution. I would love to see Google's expertise in AI and data and analytics and cloud computing. I would love to see that combined with HP's computing hardware capabilities, and I would love to see that lead to some kind of development of advanced healthcare solutions, which, whether it be AI-powered diagnostic tools or remote patient monitoring systems, because I have to wear a monitoring device myself, and I get these big bulky devices that you can't read live results from. So if there's ever an emergency, to me, it's like, I would love to see that developed and advanced, and just improved patient care and outcomes. I would love to see the creation of those technologies and platforms streamline healthcare workflows and enhance that communication between healthcare providers and patients. So I do think that's where we're going to see most of this change happen, is with, I agree 1,000%, is within the medical field.
All right. Very good. Last story is about Dante. Atlas IED is set to unveil its latest line of Dante-enabled products at InfoComm. InfoComm, of course, again, 12th through the 14th of June in Las Vegas. The new products include 5 Dante-enabled DSPs designed to enhance interoperability, scalability, and flexibility across a wide range of applications. These new additions to the Atmosphere product line also come at the same time that Dante has introduced updates to Dante Manager as well as Dante Studio. Jonkus, have we reached the point where Dante is the default audio over IP, and others like AES67 are, I'm not going to call them second tier because that sounds hateful, but like they're plan B, right?
We kind of get AES67 for free when you have Dante. When you think about it. I guess from it certainly isn't CobraNet. We've surpassed the days of CobraNet.
Oh, geez. Right? Wow. Okay. Anybody under 30, go ahead and Google CobraNet. Now continue, Mr. Jonkus.
So I think, look, Extron was a founding member, first manufacturer to have Dante products. And we really believe in Dante, and we have so many Dante products. So I think the more we have Dante accessible to different devices in the industry, the greater flexibility it probably provides at this stage to connect as many devices as possible. I think having the standards-based E665 as an option also provides different levels of interoperability, because not every device is going to be able to use the Dante technology specifically. But to have interoperability, I think it's a great option. And as an industry, I think it really allows system designers the flexibility to use the devices they want to use. So if you have microphones, or if you have endpoints for your visual communication systems, things like that, it's nice to be able to transport, and know that you can transport and route audio in a very straightforward and kind of predictable way. And I think there's probably a whole generation of technicians out there who have grown up learning Dante. And I think that's a big help, because, learning how to absorb a technology and learning all the different software applications that are surrounding it, that are native to the devices in our industry, understanding the backbone of it, understanding how to engineer it and work with it. I think that's very valuable. So, I guess we're all glad to see Dante to have persistence and success, especially in the commercial AV side of the world.
All right. Kelly, Jonk has mentioned system designers. So how important has Dante become to system design?
I would say very important. I think it's gained a lot of significant traction. I think it's considered one of the leading standards for audio networking. Actually, it's funny. Frank just asked me to be considered one of their Dante superheroes for AVNate. So
Frank Paticala,
yeah.
Important friend of the show.
Yeah, I actually just got asked to be one of their Dante superheroes. So I'm actually doing an interview on this about, the importance of Dante. And I think it's definitely become one of the leading standards for audio networking and professional and residential, even audio visual environments, but more so commercial spaces. I know it's not universally adopted as the absolute default, but I think it's widely recognized and utilized because of that reliability, scalability, and flexibility, and just the industry support. It being simply backed by AVNate, which is the company that specializes in that audio networking solutions. I think that partnerships with numerous audio equipment manufacturers as well results in that vast ecosystem of Dante-enabled devices. So I think it also offers that ease of use, that user-friendly software tools like Dante Controller for managing audio routing and device configuration. I think that also streamlines system setup and maintenance, making accessible for audio professionals, for varying levels of expertise, which is also just as important. So yeah, I would agree. It's definitely one of the top players right now.
Mr. Jur, you have the last word on this.
Well, I'm joking to myself because these guys are giving legitimate answers. My tongue-in-cheek answer is, as long as they don't have like an Elon Musk behind the company and the standard, they can create some right turn decision all of a sudden. Now,
well, they have Frank Paticala, so he's the same thing.
Yeah. They've moved, think about the supercharger environment right now. Yeah. Moving towards an industry standard around EVs, electric vehicle charging, was a great movement. Industry looking forward to that. And then you have some things taking place. The other parallel I was thinking about is probably ARM processors in the CPU market. But at the same time, you have x86 platform as well too. So I think it's great, because I think when you have people on a common platform, it allows them to really push the technology and the solutions and what's taking place, which is fantastic. This is where the sky's the limit. It's just to have a cautious eye on monopolistic limitations or things along that lines. I mean, there's no evidence of that. I'm like I said, I'm the oddball.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I think it's going to create some really interesting things in the audio over IP space.
And I actually will have the last word on this. The one other thing about this, and then I'll let you guys go. The thing that Dante has done, and I am not a Dante hero or anything else like that. I have friends that work there. Yes, they've pushed forward with this technology, and they've got some really, really great chipsets. The software side, though, is where Dante has really kind of hooked me for a second. I mentioned Studio, I mentioned Via, I mentioned Manager. They're doing some really interesting things. And to Greg's point, they're not a monopoly, but they've got a pretty significant market share. So you have to watch that space. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Kelly Teal, thank you. SSR is where she works, but where can we find you?
I am on LinkedIn. I believe it's under Kelly T or Kelly Teal.
All right, very good. Mr. Jonkus, good to see your bright and shining face as always. How can we connect with you or Extron?
Oh, at extron.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn.
All right. Mr. Durr, congratulations on the new gig. The Collab Collective is Craig's new space. So where can we connect with you or Collab Collective?
Oh, it's a couple of things. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name or on Twitter as well. collab-collective.com is the website. We're using Infocom as a bit of our coming out party. Where
Very
I'm
cool.
fortunate, I'm going to be hosting 2 sessions there too. One around multi-camera technology, which I think is going to be really great, talking about high impact spaces. And the other one, which would be a lot of fun, is AI in the meeting experience and around the office. And we've got Microsoft, Zoom, and Cisco all together. So it's either going to be cats and dogs or a lot of love talking about AI on that session. So I encourage you guys to come see those.
I'm envisioning an old talk show with chairs flying and somebody's nose getting broken. All right. My name is Tim Albright. Don't follow me anywhere because I'm not very interesting, but go by the website if you would, please, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. You will find this program and a host of others. We have mentioned Infocom more than once. Infocom 2024 happens the 12th through the 14th of June in Las Vegas. We are going. My fantastic producer, Mitchell, is also going to be in Las Vegas, so watch out. But we've got a couple things happening, including the Tweet Up, which is Wednesday, the 12th, from 4 to 6 p.m. in W305. You can register for that at our website. You can also check out our coverage, which has already started. Tons of previews, talking with fantastic vendors about what they'll be showing on the show floor. And you can find that at avnation.tv/infocom-24. So all that and more at avnation.tv. It's avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. That's all the time we have for AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Hi, this is Jennifer Goodyear
and Erica Carroll
from the Women in AV podcast, where we are encouraged by the incredible stories of women in AV.
Listen in on fun, empowering conversations as we chat with inspiring women, breaking barriers and creating their own path in the industry.
Check out Women in AV on avnation.tv or wherever you get your podcasts.